The story of Goldilocks. Imagine a warm summer day in 1969, where a magical story begins to unfold. Bing Crosby, the legendary crooner, and his family are off on a peaceful fishing trip. They've just returned to their camp after catching some fish, and Bing is feeling quite proud. But things quickly take a funny turn when his wife, Catherine, recoils in disgust. She's not interested in dealing with the slimy fish and reminds him, if you catch them, you clean them. With no other option, Bing and the kids head back to the lake, ready to tackle the less glamorous side of fishing. As they sit on a log cleaning their catch, a conversation sparks. Bing's daughter, Mary Frances, admits that while fishing has its fun moments, cleaning is definitely not one of them. Nathaniel, Bing's son, chimes in, saying he's bored. At that moment, Bing comes up with a brilliant idea to entertain the kids. He begins to tell a story, but not just any story. This time, it's the tale of Goldilocks and the three bears. But Bing hints that they may not remember it exactly as it is. With a mischievous grin, he tells them to take a longer look at the story, suggesting there's more than meets the eye. And just like that, the world begins to transform. Mary Frances, still giggling over the idea of a butterfly Bing mentioned in his story, suddenly sees one flutter down and land right on her nose. She follows the butterfly deeper into the story, and to her surprise, she becomes Goldilocks herself. But here's the twist. Mary is the only real person left. Everyone else in the story, from the bears to the furniture, becomes animated. The family's daydream has turned into a colorful adventure where anything can happen. Papa Bear, who's unmistakably modeled after Bing, takes center stage with a song about how people are always in a rush, never stopping to enjoy the little things in life. He teaches his little bear cub, Baby Bear, a valuable lesson about appreciating nature, and the audience can't help but see the wisdom in his words. While the bears are out enjoying the forest, little does Goldilocks know that their cozy house is just waiting for her. Lost, tired, and a bit hungry, she stumbles upon it and can't resist checking things out. Just like in the classic tale, she tries their porridge, sits in their chairs, and finally settles in Baby Bear's bed. She even sings a song about never settling for anything less than the best. But just as Goldilocks gets comfortable, the bears return home. Chaos erupts when they find their home in disarray. Papa Bear is furious. Who would dare invade their space? Things escalate quickly as Papa Bear grabs his golf club, ready to defend his family. Just when it seems like Goldilocks is in real danger, Baby Bear steps in, pleading, "No, Papa, don't! It's just a people cub." The tension breaks, and everyone realizes it's all a big misunderstanding. Goldilocks isn't a threat. She's just a lost little girl. As the story continues, the bears and Goldilocks begin to bond. They share a meal, and the bears, being the kind hosts they are, start asking her about her life. But not everyone is so welcoming. Papa Bear's friend, Bobcat, a loud and opinionated character, isn't thrilled about having a human in the forest. Bobcat believes humans don't belong in their world and shouldn't be trusted. He sneaks away from the house and starts spreading his views to the other animals, stirring up trouble. His convincing arguments sway the forest creatures, and soon an angry mob forms. Led by Bobcat, they march to the bear's house, demanding that Goldilocks be handed over to them. Papa Bear stands his ground, determined to protect Goldilocks. He speaks calmly but firmly, reminding everyone that the forest doesn't need protection from a little girl who's simply lost and hungry. Despite his words, Bobcat isn't satisfied. He keeps pushing the crowd, making things even more tense. Fearing for her safety, Goldilocks tries to escape, but as she runs through the forest, she trips over a log and knocks herself out cold. The mood shifts dramatically. The once angry crowd falls silent, unsure of what to do next. Baby Bear rushes to his father, and together they go to check on Goldilocks. Papa Bear, with a stern voice, scolds the group for their reckless actions, especially Bobcat, who realizes his mistake but refuses to apologize. Time passes, and to everyone's relief, Goldilocks regains consciousness with only a bump on her head. The animals, now ashamed of their behavior, cheer when they see she's okay. In an act of goodwill, they invite her and her family to visit the forest anytime they like. As the story comes to an end, The bears, along with all the forest creatures, help Goldilocks find her way out of the woods. They safely escort her back home, ensuring she won't get lost again. And just like that, the story snaps back to reality. Bing, Mary Frances, and Nathaniel are once again sitting on their log by the lake, as if nothing had happened. They gather their things and start heading back to camp, but something feels off. Catherine, Bing's wife, notices that the food hamper is open, and no one had been in camp all day. Bing then spots that his fishing tackle box has been disturbed. The kids look around and see the door to their tent is wide open. When they step inside, they find an unexpected guest, a little bear cub, lost and far from home. The kids are excited to see the tiny cub, marveling at how cute it is. But their mother quickly warns them that where there's a cub, there's sure to be a mother bear nearby, and that's something they don't want to mess with. In a clever nod to the story they've just experienced, Mary Frances jokes, "I hope it's someone we know," referencing the bear family they just imagined. With a sense of wonder, they gently guide the cub back to where it belongs, knowing its family is nearby. As they send the cub on its way, the family reflects on their day's adventure. They might have started with a fishing trip, but they ended with something far more magical. As the credits roll, the cast joins together in a final song, "Take a Longer Look," reminding the audience that there's always more to every story if you just look a little deeper. But the fun didn't stop there. In a behind-the-scenes twist that never made it to air, there was a plan to continue the Goldilocks adventure. The bobcat, it turns out, had a change of heart after his wife, the lynx, left him. He finds himself alone until he comes across a litter of orphaned fox kits. Moved by their plight, he takes them in and raises them as his own. Time passes, and the fox kits grow up, eventually befriending the bobcat's own cubs. In a heartwarming scene, the lynx returns, and they all become one big blended family. Though this touching storyline never aired, it was a powerful reminder of the show's underlying theme, that families, no matter how different, can always come together. And so, the show, first broadcast in 1970, became a unique piece of television history, starring Bing Crosby, his wife Catherine, and their children. Though it didn't launch the series as planned, it remains a cherished memory for those who experienced its magic.